Alright, we are live. Yeah, brother. Watch this.
I need more essence.
Did I complete that fucking quest? I didn't. I just did that dungeon for no reason. Oh, I did get some legendary boots out of it, so we'll see if they're better. They're not sacred though, so. 100. See, it's these gloves right here. I just got these yesterday. Said instead of detonating immediately, corpse explosion summons a volatile skeleton that charges at a random enemy and explodes. Corpse explosion's damage increased by 37%. So you see the 30 to 40 little parameters right there? Well, 37%, that's where it can roll, between 30 and 40. So 37 is pretty high on the scale. The max roll would be 40, the min roll would be 30%. So pretty good, pretty good. I got that from a public event. Okay, so look, that's how I got my build set up. I'm gonna show you real quick. So I have those, right? And then I have where is it? Where is it? Okay, right here on my weapon. So I gained 20%, which is the highest roll out of that for my level. I don't know if it's higher. I haven't seen one. This is the only one I've seen. But you gain 20% increased critical strike chance for 6 seconds when you cast Corpse Tendrils. So that thing that I use when I slow them and pull them all into one spot, that's Corpse Tendrils. So for 6 seconds, I get 20% increased critical strike chance. And then I deal 60%, which is the max roll for that one, 60% bonus critical strike damage to enemies when I pull them in. And then I have a gem on there that gives me an extra 9% critical strike damage to crowd-controlled enemies, which they are. They're slowed and then they're stunned. And then I have this here. You have 26%, which is a pretty high roll because 30% is the highest. You have 26% increased critical strike chance against injured enemies. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. I'm assuming it's like after 90 or 80% health. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know. But I'm assuming at some point it kicks in when they start losing life. So when I cast Corpse Tendrils, pull them all in, activate one Corpse Explosion, and then I do one Sever, this kicks in. And so I do an increased 26% chance. So I have 26% on top of 20%. So I have an extra 46% chance to crit. And then my crit damage goes through the fucking ceiling by like 70%, almost 69%. And then I have this one. Each time the Shadow Blight key passive deals damage, which is my like ultimate passive, which is this one here. Where are we? No, where are we? Here we go. Right here, this one. So shadow damage affects enemies with Shadow Blight for 2 seconds. You and your minions deal 10% bonus damage to enemies with Shadow Blight. Every 10th time an enemy receives shadow damage from you or your minions. Basically from me, because I don't run minions. Each time it deals damage, they take an additional 744 to 909 shadow damage. Oh. And so that increases, so So this here increases that by 36%. That stacks up to 5 times. And they're constantly taking shadow damage. If I'm casting Corpse Explosion, that shit stacks up almost instantaneously. And then I have this one. This is the lowest roll because this is just from my Codex of Power. So anything from the Codex of Power will always have the lowest min roll. I have not seen one in the wild yet, so I haven't been able to use it. But this one also goes off the Shadow Blight passive. You deal 50% increased damage for 6 seconds after the Shadow Blight key passive damages enemies 10 times. So once it stacks up, you deal 50% extra damage for 6 seconds. And then as you're doing 50% more damage for over the 6-second time frame, you're getting to that next 10 tick of the Keep Light passive. So, yeah, I'm dealing a bunch of extra shadow damage. I'm dealing a bunch of crit. I have a bunch of crit chance, dealing a bunch of extra crit damage. And then I have this on my shield for a barrier, so when I hit an elite for 10 seconds, I get a fat barrier on my health bar. This one is just there. I haven't found a good one for the boots yet at all. This one's good for on the pants. Each time Bone Storm, so my ultimate, damage enemy, I get another barrier. On the chest, I just have a bubble, so when I get hit, when I'm not healthy, when I get hit, I create a bubble around me that makes me invulnerable for 3 seconds. No, that's from this. That's from the barrier. That's when my health bar turns blue. When you see a big dome come over me, that's this one kicking in. Or that's this one kicking in. And on my helmet, whenever I do damage, I get 45%, which is a pretty high roll on that. Increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 45%. And then my armor is at 4K right now, and then my attack power is at 3100, my life's at 1600. So it's, I get it set up pretty nice. I do have this one here that I really like. Consuming a corpse increases the damage of your next core skill by 10%, but I realize that that's like that's a lot of micromanagement. Because you have to detonate a corpse, right? You detonate the corpses, boom, 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 a bunch of times, and then you'll get the 50%. And my sever hits hella hard for only one attack though. So yeah, I beat the story. I'm on the world tier 3 now. This one is like one of my favorites, but I can't find a way to run everything because it only goes on, if you look down at the bottom, it goes on your weapon, your gloves, your amulet, and your ring. The gloves are automatically out of the question because I have Howl from Below. So it's legit just my weapon, and it doesn't go on my shield. My shield counts as armor. Yeah. So I can't put it on my shield because my shield doesn't count as a weapon, it counts as armor. And I'm not changing that on my weapon. I can put it on my jewelry. The only thing that I can possibly think of changing out is that one. The 26% increased critical strike chance against injured enemies. But to be honest, I'm thinking of like, okay, I get my ult for 10 seconds out of 60 seconds. Then that turns my ult into shadow damage. It does additional shadow damage it turns it into a shadow ult and it does additional shadow damage. So I can either get a little bit of extra damage during my ult while I'm casting it for 10 seconds, or I can get always an extra 26% critical strike chance when an enemy reaches below health. So I've been kind of going back and forth with it, and I think I'm just going to stick with that. I don't think I'm going to run this. But yeah, that's my setup. This one right here, yeah, this one right here, that was my first legendary aspect. I've never had a legendary aspect before that. So that was my first one that I got on here. So that ring is not coming off until I get another one. Because once you imprint it, once you have it in your inventory, you can extract, like say for instance, I like this passive on, where is it at? On here. You see how, where it says your maximum number of skeleton warriors is increased by 2? You see how it doesn't say imprinted? That means that came natively on the gear. So I can take, if I really like that passive, I could take that passive off for a little cost and I can throw it in my inventory. That's how I got all these. I can take it off the weapon or the gear or whatever it is and put it in my inventory. And then I can put it on to other gear later on if I really like it. Like, it's a level 55 ring. Honestly, the rings and the amulets, from what I've seen, yes, real nice. There's another one as well. There's another set of boots that I really liked that gave it to where every time you do damage, it lowers the cooldown on your evade. And on the Necromancer, I am constantly doing damage with my shadow damage. Constantly. Because of the Corpse Explosion. I would have an evade charge every second. Like, literally, legit, every fucking second I would have an evade charge. So I was able to just constantly evade. But the 3 charges is nice because I'll have one literally loaded up. So I'll start with this, right? I'll start with my scythe, like this, just to create a corpse. Because I get guaranteed create a corpse every 5 seconds. I'll cast the corpse tendrils. I don't know why I went all the way over there. It'll pull everything in. Just know that. 'Tis. Oh shit, there's a legendary or not. What? Alright. Alrighty then. I go over here. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to, yeah. Alright. Oh, okay. There's an event over here.
Watch out!
Right.
This is it. I need more time.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Right now, so each region... So the game only gives you a set amount of skill points. Okay, let's try to get away from all these enemies real fast. Let's go back to town. So the game only gives you a set amount of skill points all the way up to 50. Then you don't get any more after that. So you have to do the renown for each region to get extra skill points. So like this. So you see at the beginning, it says 1 skill point, and then potion capacity, and then 1 skill point, and then max obols. Yeah, so you can only get the first 3 before World Tier 3 Nightmare, and then the last 2 that are over here, you can get them in World Tier 3 Nightmare. So the max obols is like, it's good. It's better than you think it is. It's really good, because that's like there's a vendor that you can go and you can spend the obols at, and you can basically just roll gear and get lucky and get something nice. The Paragon points, I need the Paragon points too, so I need to go through every single... I don't even have all the skill points for all the regions. I've only gotten 2 skill points from the regions. So I gotta go through and get... I gotta finish 20 more for Dry Steps. That's literally just a dungeon. But I'm trying to go through each region now and just finish it all the way up, because I need the Paragon points. And the Paragon tree in this game is so fucking nice. So the way the Paragon tree works is you have a board, right? And you have a bunch of... These are just basically just stat increases. Flat stat increases, all of them. You get these things called glyphs. So there's open spots, like right here, I think. No, that's not it. Okay, so basically this here is an open slot, right? So it says for every 5 willpower purchased within range, you deal 2% increased shadow damage over time. So I gotta find the willpower within this little box right here. You see the red? So if I find all the willpower within this little box, I get more shadow damage. So that's the goal. And then if you meet the certain requirements, like for here, I can't. There's no more fucking willpower in the red area, so I can't get the extra bonus 10% from that. And then you have other nodes like this. So this gives you just 10%, but if you have over 170 willpower, it'll give you an additional 10%, so you do 20% more damage. And then you basically just go up the tree, you choose your path, dot your way up however you want, and then once you get to the gate, this is where shit gets real nice. So when you get to the end of the board, right, it says board attachment gate. So right when you get here, you get to pick your next board. There's 8 boards. I had 8 boards. I don't know if every class does. They might have different, but you go through all the boards, you see which one you want second, and then you pick the board. And I'm assuming you do that with all 3. I haven't looked anything up on this game. I wanted to go into this game blind. Blind as can be, because I'm tired of just looking shit up, and it's literally taking all the value and all the learning and all of the experience of the game out of the game. I'm tired of looking shit up. I'm done. I'm done with looking shit up. So I've just been going into this completely blind. Completely. I haven't watched no Diablo videos at all. So, and I think that's another reason why I've been so addicted to this shit, is because I've just been kind of going with the flow. Yeah, I've just been going with the flow of the game, and it's felt nice. I've never felt lost or anything. And then it's just realistically, it was just me and Ace playing together and figuring everything out together. Just figuring it all out. So it's been nice. It's been real nice. So I chose the next gate. And the next gate, and you could flip the board too, so you could turn the board, because you have all these other at each end, at each of the sides, you have different basically paths. You have different paths. So you want to look at it, and then you kind of look at the path. What do you want out of that board? So I picked the shadow damage. I picked the shadow damage for my board, right? So I forgot what the board is called. It was the last one, Wither. I'm pretty sure it was Wither. And it had a bunch of shadow damage and all kinds of stuff like that. And then the legendary one, it had something to do with my Shadow Blight Key passive, which that's kind of what I'm going off of, right? So I'm going off of kind of my Shadow Blight Key passive, boosting that damage even further. So the next board that I picked was Wither, and I looked at the passives, and I was like, okay, these are nice. Because it'll give you a list, because you could just search through. You don't have to look at it like this, like the would give you a list of all the legendary nodes, or the legendary node and all the rare nodes, basically the little sockets that you can get to. And I was like, okay, yeah, that board suits me the best. So I clicked the board, and then you're able to look at the board like this without attaching it. You're able to look at the board and kind of like look at it and build like a path. You're basically trying to solve a maze. You look at all the gold rare glyphs, right? The rare nodes, and you're like, okay, I don't need the 4% damage reduction. I don't need the 4% fucking shadow resistance, whatever. 10% shadow damage. Okay, I want to go for that one. Okay, and then what's the next one nearest to it? Okay, I want that one. Okay, and the legendary one is up over here. Okay, perfect. So then I kind of just, you're able to turn the board to where you can set your path right from the next gate. So from right where that next gate is, you could just kind of build your path and then turn the board to where it sits right there, and then you could build up to it. I want to eventually get my cause right now I'm using a sword because I picked up the sword, and the sword, I was using a scythe, bro. That's where I got that effect off of on the sword. So I imprinted that effect. So in order for me to get that effect again, I have to find another weapon or another anything, whatever, that has that passive on it. Because I found a one-handed scythe that had that passive on it, and it had some great effects. But this sword that I picked up literally gave me like an extra fucking 400 damage because of everything that it had on it. But I really wanted to use I really want to use a one-handed scythe. Really want to use a one-handed scythe. So my problem is I wanted that scythe, but the sword was so much more damage. So I was like, well, fuck, I have to go with the sword. And it wasn't the level disparity wasn't that much. It was only like 3-4 different level disparity in it. So when I got the sword, I'm like, fuck. Okay, I have to take this out of this, and I want to use the sword because it just boosted my crit damage and my crit chance and everything so high. So I was like, okay, that's a little ridiculous. So I'm going for more crit damage. I'm going for more crit chance, right? I have a 46% boosted crit chance when they're all attached with the tendrils. So that's why I was like, okay, well, fuck, I might as well go with the sword for right now. So I got the sword and I attached the thing to it, and it made it legendary. So when you attach an aspect to a rare piece of gear, it turns it into a legendary. But usually legendaries will have an extra stat light on it. So I'm on the hunt for a one-handed weapon that's really good. I'm on the hunt for a different amulet. Just so I can test the damage fall off with the 26% to injured enemies. I just want to test that and see if it's worth swapping. Yeah, so... But the problem is that my amulet that I have gives me +2 to my gloom passive. So whenever you have a passive... So like, let's go back to here, right? You see how this says 5 out of 3? Okay, so usually that's only 3 out of 3. You spend 3 skill points and you get it. It's 3 out of 3. But if you have anything that boosts it past that 3 point where you can't physically upgrade it anymore, it still gives you more damage to it. So it'll still upgrade the passive damage or the passive percent or whatever it is. It'll still upgrade the numbers, but you just can't physically put any more points into it yourself. Like my corpse explosion, I think I have 8 out of 5, yeah. So my corpse explosion does a fucking nutty damage. So yeah, man, I'm pretty set up, to be honest. I'm pretty fucking set up there, bud. Bone spirit. Oh yeah, that's a bone spirit. Yeah, the road looks pretty fun. Yeah, because I made one of every character. I didn't make a fucking sorcerer. But I made a barbarian, I made a druid, and I made a rogue and a necromancer, and I went through and I looked at all the abilities and all the passives and stuff. And the rogue looks a lot of fun. You know, you can make like a shadow rogue, kind of. You can make like a shadow rogue. I think you do shadow damage. Look pretty nice. See, this is the passive I'm talking about right here on these boots. Attacks reduce evades cooldown by 0.6 seconds. Which is really good. These give 8% movement speed. Fuck. Dodge chance. Fire resistance is meh. Slow duration reduction. Meh. The effect is trash. I mean, the effect is honestly better than the effect I have on these other boots because your maximum number of skeletal warriors is increased by 2. I don't use skeletal warriors, so it's pointless. They're only level 43 though, that's so bad. Enemy effects afflicted by your Iron Maiden have 25% chance to be stunned for 1 second. Oh, when they deal direct damage? That's kind of like... Oh, well, I mean, the Iron Maiden does last for a minute, doesn't it? Yeah, 10 seconds. That's not bad, actually. Okay, so here, I'll show you how I'm going to do this right now. So since these boots that I have on are better, because they just give me stat increases. 2 ranks to my corpse tendrils, so they do more damage, all that good stuff. And I have 2 charges. And they're way higher level. So these boots I like better. These ones are okay, and the armor reduction isn't that different. That movement speed, I really wish I can get that movement speed, but whatever. But I like that effect. That effect is a lot better than the one I have on here. So since I like that effect more, I'm going to come over here to this guy. We're going to talk to him, and then we're going to extract aspect out of these boots. So you click the boots, there's the aspect, and then it just costs you cash to get it, right? So then it destroys the boots, and then I have, yep, right there. I have said aspect in my inventory now. And that is the highest percentage roll, 15 to 25%. That's really fucking good. And then now when I want to imprint it, so I'll take my boots that I have, right? So I'll take my boots. You can either go Codex of Power. So when you're in the Codex of Power, whichever ones you have here, you could use these infinitely. You could use them infinitely. They never disappear. Once you get them in the world from dungeons, they never disappear. You can always use them. They are the lowest stat value for aspects. Always. They're the lowest stat value. But they're a good placeholder until you get the better... Because you can get these out in the wild as well. Like all of the aspects. But they are the lowest stat value. No, it never goes away if it's from the Codex of Power. This kid's being fucking irritating. This kid's saying look over and over and over again. Weirdo. Yeah, so you go and you extract. You can extract the aspect, and then it goes into your inventory. The Codex of Power, they never go away, right? So you have your Codex of Power here. All the ones that you have, they never go away. But you get some for Sorcerer, and then Barbarian. Mm-hmm. You get them for a bunch of different classes. All the classes, actually. So you get a bunch of base aspects. Some aspects you can't get at all.
I'm gonna go finish cooking, if you could just watch me.
Yeah. In your inventory, though, the aspects disappear. They don't disappear. You put them onto the gear. So, like this, right? So I'm going to put this on my boots. So I choose this aspect from my inventory to put on my boots. It changes the aspect that's on my boots already to that one. But once you imprint an item onto an item, you cannot imprint a different item onto the same item. So it's like, it's done. You can't imprint. You lose the aspect in your inventory because it goes on to your item that you're putting it on. But then it stays on the item, but you can never imprint that item again with a different aspect. And then you won't be able to retake that aspect off of there. That's why it says imprinted. Once it says imprinted, you can't do anything with it. It's stuck there, done. And then you need these resources, so you have the legendary resources, which you get from deconning armor, legendary weapons, legendary jewelry, basically. Okay. Yeah, and then you have the base material here that you get off of rares or whatever.
Looks like so what's going on?
At first, I wasn't getting a lot of these because I wasn't getting a lot of legendary drops. But then once I got to World Tier 3, I was getting a lot more legendary drops. I was getting a lot more useful shit. Imprint. Then once you imprint it, it uses the materials, uses some of your gold, takes the aspect out of the inventory, but now it is on the item. So that's how that works. It's fairly easy. It's fairly straightforward, but it took me a minute to figure it out. Because I was trying to re-imprint the necklace, right? So I imprinted it on there. I imprinted that one on there. It had a different effect. And then I tried to re-imprint another item onto there. And I was wondering, what the fuck is going on? Why can't I do it? And then I realized that once it's imprinted, you cannot imprint another. If I mean, there might be a way. I'm not fucking sure. But as far as I know, I cannot imprint another aspect over an aspect that's already been imprinted onto said piece of gear. So there's that. I need to decon all this shit.
My burden is too great.
You can take what's left.
And every time you decon a legendary item, it always gives you, it'll always give you the legendary material.
In the park, nice. Anything breaks, the forge is hot.
And fucking gem crafting in this game is like, fuck, dude, pulling teeth out of your head. It's so much. It is just unbelievably so much gold. Yeah, they make you work for it. So I got this scythe, right? This scythe over here, the unique one. I just got this last night. And then, so this one says your darkness skills chill enemies for up to 40%. That's bullshit. It doesn't. Like, for whatever reason, I was testing it, and it just doesn't. It just does not chill it at all.
Isn't that just so fluffy?
Good stuff. Hi, Bubba. So it just does it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's a bug. I don't know if what the fuck's going on with it, but for whatever reason, it just does not chill enemies because my sever should chill and my corpse explosion should chill. I don't know if it's like a specific. I don't know if it's like a specific skills that do it. I don't know, but I tried it and I really didn't like it. And I got real hyped when I got that because I was like, oh my god, this is so ridiculous. Yep, on the fly too, right here at the thing. All you gotta do is every time you get a piece of gear that you're about to sell or whatever, it'll tell you on the bottom of it. It'll say salvage for additional transmog or whatever. So every time you salvage something that you don't know the style of, you get the style, and then you can come into your wardrobe up here and transmog for free. So they really did the. I'm still missing some helmets. 7 helmets. Still missing some chest pieces. That one's pretty nasty. I'm not missing that many chest pieces. Wait a minute, let's try to switch up a little bit. Oof. I really wish you could change the color of the skulls. If I could change the color of the skulls, that would be ideal. mean, that looks cool, but I like my paladin look. I remember what I had on, too. I was rocking these pants. Where are they? Yes! That's exactly... That's what I said. I was rocking these pants, but for some reason that cloth is like black, and that's how I want it, and there's no black fucking dye. And it... Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it either. And it kind of just throws off the whole, because that's black and everything else is kind of gray. That's why I just went with this one. Look real fucking like a dark paladin look to it. Drippy drip. And you can change the sword too. Man, I was saying that shit. Who was I telling that to the other day? I was saying that to somebody. That shit would be so disgusting. And I don't know why they can't. I don't know why they can't do it. I'm talking about the game developers. Like, they should allow us to be in third person. The shields are kind of lackluster, to be honest. All these are dog shit. This one was okay, but it's just too rusty and it's too brown. It's not... And then this one is too woody. Like, it looks good, but it's just too much wood. This is like the best one that I found. It's got the silver that matches my armor. It's got a little bit of gold on it, but that's fine. Because it kind of matches the sword a little bit. There's a couple shields I haven't gotten yet, so I'm hoping that there's some real clean ones. That's what I was going for. I was going for the dark paladin look. I did not want to look like some skulled up fucking weirdo. Let's go over here. Not like skulls on the armor, but like skulls hanging off of me. Like, I don't know why I hate that shit so much. Like, I don't want human skulls just
I cannot do that here.
coming off my fucking clothes. Like, it just doesn't feel right. Okay, quest done. This one should be done. There we go. Okay, so we're at 290 to 600. I got all the altars of Lilith here. 2 more dungeons. So I need 310 more. Hammer of the Champion. Scar Cavern. Okay, I gotta go into that cave.
I cannot do that here.
I cannot do that here. Which one am I doing? Hammer of the Champion. Okay. There's another dungeon right there too that I have not completed. Is there a teleporter here? Yeah, they did. They increased the speed and the damage, I think. Yeah, they did. Alright, hold on.